So in this video, I wanted to switch things up a little bit and take a look at a very cool mechanical pencil called the Faber Castell TK-Matic. As you might have guessed, this is a vintage mechanical pencil. It came somewhere between the 70s and I think the early 80s. I'm not precisely sure, but it's a really cool collectible mechanical pencil, and you can find them online for like not crazy prices. So you could probably make it out. It's the Faber Castell, and you could just probably see TK-Matic right there, 0.5 millimeter. So Faber Castell, of course, is still a maker of pens and pencils and fountain pens and Graf von Faber and stuff like that. But in the 70s and 80s, they made some very cool mechanical pencils, and this is one of them. The TK-Matic is notable because it's an automatic, so kind of self-adjusting mechanical pencil, which is a really nice feature and not that common even now. So let's quickly run through the pencil. So again, Faber Castell TK-Matic 0.5 millimeter. This one has a plastic body. It's also sold as the Faber Castell TK-Matic L, which will have a fully metal body. It's a slightly nicer pencil, but it's fundamentally the same thing. I actually like the green. The metal one is, silver. Has some really nice sort of extras that companies don't do so much nowadays. So you see the clip has a really nice kind of a Faber Castell shield there, and has these lines on it, just really nicely done. It's really a cool looking clip. Rest of the clip, it's just a kind of clipped on, but also you can see it says Germany right there, so that's imprinted really nicely. At the very top, we see it says HB, so that would have been your lead hardness. This is a drafting pencil, maybe I'll call it a mechanical pencil, but it's really a drafting pencil. So in a professional setting, you would have it upright probably, and you want to grab your HB, and there it is. This is a kind of a weird brown, and I think that's because there are some standards around these colors, and maybe HB has a weird brown, or maybe these are all just weird browns. I'm not really sure. I know with some drafting pencils, you see 0.5 millimeter would be associated with a color, and I forgot to look it up if it's the brown. I think it is. This piece comes off as you might expect. It's all metal, really nicely built. And look at that near mint condition 1970s eraser. I'm almost afraid to use it, but this does come out, and you can see the eraser is replaceable, and then it does have an anti-jamming rod or stick or whatever it's called, and that's a true sign of a professional drafting type pencil from back in the day. You could refill it. I'm using all original or somewhat original lead here, so I won't refill it, and this all goes back quite nicely. Quiet click. I think that's very cool. I don't know why, I think it's cool that it has no sound. It seems, again, very professional. If you were in a drafting house or something and people are using these all day long, you probably wouldn't want to hear people clicking nonstop. One of the things I wanted to point out is the knurling work. Knurling, as it turns out, is not an easy thing to do. So when you see a really high-end knurling like this with beautifully made lines, really just sharp, but not like cut your finger sharp, just really look great, look really clean. And then you see here where the knurling would have continued vertically, but it also went horizontally. And look how clean those cuts are. That's not something manufacturers are really doing these days. You can get close with the Pilot Automac and some other ones, but the level of quality here is really pretty impressive. And again, this pen has been in use or out in the wild for 30 plus years, so it's got a couple dings. It's actually picked up a little bit of surface rust, but I'm sure that would come off with a little bit of Scotch-Brite or something like that. Then just a metal nose cone, and then the pencil, the pencil, yeah, of course the pencil, the pipe. So what happens with this is you wouldn't write with a pencil like this, an adjusting or automatic pencil. You would keep it pretty close to the bottom, and it would write like this. and you would never have to worry about breaking your lead. So this is the Faber TK-Matic 0.5 millimeter. So you can see it writes with it like that. But what happens is, and this is similar to the Oren's Nero and some other mechanical pencils, is, and it's easier to demonstrate with this out a little bit, as you push down and you write, the pipe can grab more lead. So to demonstrate, you're writing and the pipe gets pushed down as you write, and it's just grabbing a little bit more lead and poking it out. And that is kind of fundamentally how an automatic pencil works. It's a really clever mechanism and it works really well. But the best part about it is, as it's happening, you don't think about it working. There's nothing going on and you're not thinking about it doing its job. It's just that you have a pencil and it keeps writing until that piece of lead is done. So taking this apart here is tough on this one. And I don't even know if this piece comes off. I don't want to force it off because I know this thing is probably a little bit fragile. But you can pull this out. We see what's inside. And the mechanism is really nicely hidden in there. Generally what would have happened with a higher end mechanical pencil is that this piece would have been replaceable. So if you were to drop it, all the hardware is in good shape. You don't have to worry about that. You could just replace this front piece with the pipe. So the pipe is what's most likely to break. And again, I don't want to take it apart. It probably is a little bit fragile, but you can't really see too much in there. Yeah, it's stuck on pretty good. I'm going to leave it alone. Recently broke a different mechanical pencil, so not in the mood for doing too much experimenting. So I think that basically covers it. This is again, the Faber TK-Matic. Really nice, very collectible mechanical pencil. It has a couple flaws from a collector standpoint. This piece tends to be, the top piece tends to be a little bit loose. The plastic, while it looks extremely cool, and you could buy it in this really nice kind of hunter green or dark green, whatever, racing green, the imprint is really light, so you could barely make out that it's a TK-Matic, so it makes it hard to find. Also, while it's a very hard kind of 70s, 80s style old school plastic, it does pick up surface scratches. So the pencil, even if it's in really nice condition for something so old, it will kind of look dinged up. And then lastly, this piece is, I don't know if it's picking up, it looks like surface rust to me, but my guess is this piece would have been aluminum, so it wouldn't rust, so maybe it's just gunk from the time. But if you wanted to restore this, you would just kind of run a toothbrush over this, no toothpaste, just a toothbrush over this and try to loosen up this stuff, or maybe hit it with some Scotch-Brite. But to get into there, you'd want to use something. I'm not really sure the best. I'd have to experiment before I could recommend what you should clean it up with. But yeah, that's the TK-Matic. Prices are going to be all over the place for these, but you could definitely find them between, I would say, $50 and $75 if you hunt around. If you find a mint condition one, then it's going to be more. And then if you find the high-end version, which is just going to be called the TK-Matic L. I don't know if the L is for luxury or what, but if you find that, it'll be a more expensive version of this. Fundamentally, the same pencil, but with the metal body. So that covers it. Let me know if you like these vintage and pencil videos. Thanks for watching.